for Chomsky, one of the central parts of his anarchist critique of both state socialism and capitalism is that he would pretty much agree that a lot of state socialism was in fact state capitalism, and that state capitalist policies are themselves extractive of the domestic population. So it's not just the soldiers that are dying for capitalist wars or the poor that are dying for capitalism, as you describe. It's also that the public, through its labor and through its taxed labor, is supporting its own ruling class simply by diverting its money and wealth up the food chain, not so that the United States can win the war in Vietnam or any other war necessarily, but just to spend the public's money for profit. In other words, that part of what the function of taxation is that to the extent that it's necessary through what he calls the Pentagon system, it's a little bit anachronistic now to say that, but it's the Eisenhower military industrial complex. It's not like there's like a paranoid conspiracy where it's kind of like, here's the group of reptile men sitting around, they're going to try to blow up the fucking world. Like, it's not just like Curtis LeMay people. It's a lot more business than that. So in other words, like, part of the thesis is we're going to sell you in the Vietnam War, not just because it's going to open markets there, but because the contracts with Raytheon, the contracts with Boeing, all the contracts the government has with these private corporations are for profit. It's not like any of these firms are non-profit. So you're kind of sustaining technological innovation. You're sustaining investment through public subsidies of private industry. So it's like socialize the cost, privatize the profits idea. But it's not just happening during bank bailouts. It's a systemic feature of our society, but we just call it defense spending. Mm-hmm. So what is defense spending? It's subsidized private state capitalism. And it's a way for ruling elites. It's a way for the ruling class to maintain itself and its status and its privileges in its own society. So the wars could be won or lost. The tungsten could come or not. That's actually, in some ways, at certain times, secondary to the need for them to just vacuum up profits from people below. It's an extractive economy.